Good morning, everyone. Happy Supercharged Manifesting Monday. Let me jump back over here and see the comments. Happy Monday. This morning, we're talking about accessing your higher mind and how to access what I call higher mind wealth. I'm so excited to see you all joining. I'm going to wait for you all to jump in and say your good mornings, give your love. Happy Monday. It's the start of another week. I'm so excited for all the magic that we're going to experience this week. And I want to start off by saying, as you've probably noticed, my commitment has been I want to take us in 2023 out of the conversations, the kind that we've been having for a while, where it's all about how to manifest money. I want to take us out of that level of conversation. Nothing's wrong with it. It's all great. It's gotten us here. But now we want to get into that higher level conversation. We want to talk about wealth consciousness. My whole thing for 2023 is wealth with ease. So let's go. I'm ready. Happy Money Manifesting Monday. Happy Money Day. Happy all the love and joy to the money family, all the things, right? All the things that make our heart full and make us feel like we're part of something special. All right. So I see that you guys are all here. Wealth management, Barbara says, yes. We really want to up level the conversations around wealth and out of manifesting money. And you're going to see the difference in the topics that I'm sharing this year, the angle that I'm taking, because that's where I'm going personally. And those are conversations I want to be having. And I know that you do too, right? You're all drawn to these conversations because we're mirrors of each other. This is what we want to be talking about. So the topic this morning is higher mind wealth. And I want to start off by just giving you a framework of the contrast of that. So, what is the opposite of higher mind wealth? It would be lower mind consciousness, lower mind thinking about money, lower mind thinking about how we create more money or how we create wealth. And this is where that part of our mind that is so trained to live in logic. It's trained to come from the ego. It's trained to come from limitation. The lower mind is the part of our awareness that just loves structure. It needs data. It needs a plan. It needs step by step. Like, okay, Tasha, you've told me I can, create all this wealth, but I need a plan. I need the data. I need my Excel spreadsheet. It needs time. It needs to all make sense at the lower mind level. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, there's a beautiful way to partner both. But what I notice is that a lot of people are looking to create massive amounts of wealth or next level wealth. And they are very much spending a lot of their time in their lower mind. They're needing a plan. They're needing like the logical steps. They're needing, they need it has to make sense to them. This is where we get stuck in the how. And I just want to bring to your awareness that everything about this is that part of your mind that keeps you inside the box. This is where you get addicted to, I need the how. It needs to make sense to me. And you know what? If I want this much wealth, then it's going to take this much time, right? You think very linear when you're in your lower mind, like this equals this, or this much wealth needs this much time. And everything has to be a match right here in that lower mind. It needs to all make sense. And here's the thing about that. This part, this way of thinking, this level of consciousness, this lower mind consciousness, this is the thing that makes you work. This is the thing that keeps you awake at night. It drives you crazy because you have this big, massive desire that's way outside the box, but your mind is keeping you living and thinking inside the box. It's looking for all the things to match up, all the puzzle pieces to come together for it to make sense. And I'm here to be the one to tell you that this is going to keep you trapped in that physical effort. It's like, I need to make this much money, so I need to do this much work, right? I need to make this much money, so it needs this much time. And the thing about that is that this level of consciousness, not only is it going to make you work, it's going to make you take a longer time. It's going to make you worry. It's going to make you anxious. It's going to make you try to figure things out that you can't. And I don't know about you, but I'm a no. Like, I get that we need the spreadsheets, the plans, all those things. I get that, but I don't want to live there in my logical mind in that linear, lower level type of thinking, because what it does is it says infinite abundance, like massive passive amounts of wealth is over here and I'm over here. And it keeps you in this consciousness of separateness. Like, there, yes, I know that infinite abundance exists, but not for me, or not with my type of business, or not at my age, or not right. All these reasons why it can't happen for you, because it doesn't make sense when you're in your lower mind. I'm hoping that you guys are connecting this, and I want you to kind of look at how you see yourself as being separate from infinite abundance. And now I want to tell you, I'm reminded that I'm reminded of a story of a time in my life when we first started this business, and I went to see Bob Proctor. He was putting on a Science of Getting Rich event out in LA, and we were just starting. We were probably a few months into our business, and we were going to teach about the science of getting rich. So I decided, oh, this is great. Let me go watch this master, you know? And I remember showing up for the event, and it was in a big, massive hotel in LA. At this point, we have like 10 customers. Okay. So I showed up for this event. It's at this big hotel in LA. I remember clear as day, coming down the escalators to get registered for the event. And as I got to the bottom of the register, I saw literally what seemed like thousands of people waiting to register, and they had badges and they had a bag and they had big massive books, and it was just like an entire team registering people, and there were people everywhere, and I could look in the room and it seemed like a sea, like an ocean of tables and seats all there ready on this massive stage. And I remember standing there thinking with my little lower mind self, what am I doing? What am I doing? Bob Proctor is teaching about the science of getting rich. Why am I thinking that I can do that? Why am I thinking that I can create a business teaching anybody else about the science of getting rich when Bob Proctor is here doing it? And look at all these people that showed up, and look at this big, massive production. And I live in a little tiny town with 10 people currently registered in our program. And that's the kind of thinking that is lower mind thinking. And so it doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me that there was any space in the market, if you would, for me, little old me, to be teaching about the science of getting rich. And I'm so grateful that I was able to overcome that and just make myself stay. Because one of the things that I realized as I sat there that weekend was Bob Proctor is amazing. And there are thousands of people in that room, and he has millions of other people that weren't even at the event that he supports, and he teaches about the science of getting rich. And as I sat there, I realized, wow, the way he teaches it is different than how I'm teaching it, or how I've learned it, or how I apply it. And maybe there's space for me and the people who would love to hear it in my way. And I just like gave myself a little window of opportunity to think like that. And bam, my higher mind came in and just kept me going. Right. And so I want to give you that example, because here I am 10 years later. We've built this incredible business. I saw a Bob Proctor email recently, and I thought, my gosh, there's so many people all over the world who can credit Bob Proctor with changing their lives. And guess what? Little old Tasha, there are so many people today all over the world now, from that girl with 10 customers, so many people all over the world right now who message me every single day of my life saying thank you for what you taught me and all the ways that my life has changed, right? And I want to share that story with you, because when you start to think about your wealth and what's available for you in wealth, this is where you have to get out of that lower mind that's finite, that needs logic, that needs it to make sense, because you're always going to be in limitation. You're always going to be saying, there's someone else doing this. You know, I'm too old. I don't see the way. I can't figure it out. And that's not for you. That is very, very much lower mind thinking. So what I want to step us into today is I want to bring to our awareness what higher mind consciousness looks like. And the very first thing, when you're in your higher mind, when you are operating from that higher mind that gets access to higher levels of wealth, number one, and I want every single one of you to write this. I want every single one of you to type in the comments, I am wealth. I am wealth. I am infinite abundance. That is the very first thing. There is infinite abundance, and then there's me. And I have to figure out how to get myself closer to it and how to have this level of infinite wealth. That's not how it works. You are it. You are one with it. That is higher mind thinking. I love it. I am wealth. That's right. I am wealth. You're one. This is the part of your brain that talks to you and says, you can do this. It constantly reminds you, remember that dream that you have? Remember that program you wanted to start? Remember that idea that you have? It's constantly showing you, right? Coming attractions for your life. It's like, look, remember one of our amazing ladies in our program was talking about how she said to herself, I can't think, and I think she's here today, Sylvia said, she's always saying, I don't know what my dream car is. That is very much lower mind consciousness, lower mind thinking. That is you trapped in your limitation. I don't know what I want is you in your limitation always and forever, right? And so she gave herself the opportunity to have her higher mind awareness just present, you do know what you want. And she went looking, and finally she landed on, I think it was a Prada, which is like the luxury Lexus. It's in other countries. I don't think it's here in the US, but it's like, if you can think of the big, massive Lexus SUV, it's that version of that, right? I think Toyota makes it. So once she got out of, I don't know what I want, and stepped into that higher mind consciousness, it gave her the opportunity to identify, this is what you want. Here, you can have it. What happens when you say, I don't know what I want, is you have succumbed to that lower mind consciousness that limits you and makes you think you actually can't have what you want. So don't even think it, right? So when you're in higher mind consciousness, this is where you are going to get reminded of your dreams. You're going to be tapped on the shoulder and you're going to hear those, you can do it. Don't forget you can do it. This is where there are no limits. There is no programming. The higher mind does not know limits. It doesn't know what's possible or not possible. Everything in the higher mind is possible. Everything's available. Everything is for you. We talk about in the Science of Getting Rich, the formless substance. The formless substance is just energy that can create anything that you want. And when you're in that higher mind consciousness, this is where you get access to that. This is where you know, I am wealth. I am one with all that there is. And so I want to shift our conversations out of, I want to manifest money, because I feel like that keeps us in that I'm separate and I want to do all these things to manifest money. Where we're going this year is, I am wealth. I am that level of consciousness. I am reminded of my desires. I know that everything is possible. In fact, when I'm saying I don't know, I recognize that I'm not in my higher mind. I'm not accessing that part of my consciousness, because that part of my consciousness knows everything is possible. It knows a little girl from Stewart with 10 customers can serve people from all over the world and create a business that has generated multi-millions, right? It knows that. And so it pushes you. The higher mind is going to keep pushing you, and you're going to get probably aggravated with it sometimes. But I'm telling you, wealth with ease is in your higher mind consciousness. That level of wealth, that level of consciousness is where we want to live this year. I'm looking at all of the comments. The higher mind knows all that there is. It knows all that exists. It knows all that's possible. It knows that you can have it all. It knows that you can. And so what I promised you was, let's have a conversation around, how do you access that? How do you access that level of wealth consciousness? Well, everything that we want to transform, when we want to access higher levels of consciousness, we want to get to that higher mind, it all comes down to the same three things all the time. You have to, number one, commit to higher mind thoughts. You have to commit to higher mind thoughts. And that is, I am infinite. I am wealth. I can, before I tell you the story, I just want to tell you, because I want you all to type these affirmations. I am infinite. I am wealth. God is my source and my supply. I need not look at my bank account and say, this is what I'm capable of. That is very much a lower mind activity, lower mind thinking. Like, I want to, grow my business by this logical percentage from last year. Very much a logical mind, lower mind thought. A higher mind thought is, what am I capable of? What am I capable of creating? That is higher mind wealth creation. When you commit to those levels of thought, and more importantly, how do you access it? You commit to watching when you're in lower mind thinking. I don't need to teach you about that. You know when you are there. It feels frustrating, it feels limiting, it feels hard, it feels like I need to make it make sense. Anytime you're trying to make it make sense, you're in your lower mind and you have access to like this kind of mind. Like, there are, like, my fingers like go off the screen, because it's like, it's impossible for you to see all that's possible for you. It is impossible for you to know all the ways that it can happen, all the things that's possible for you. It lives outside the box. It lives outside of your lower mind and your limitation. And so you have to commit to going there. Anytime you see yourself in that trying to make it make sense mentality, switch to, I am infinite. What am I doing? I am wealth. God is my source. It's not even that I don't need a plan. It's that the plan is already done for me. All I need to be asking myself is, what am I capable of? Right? I love that you guys are all doing that. I am wealth. And so you have to commit to higher level mind thinking, higher level mind thoughts. And it's a commitment. I'm telling you that this last week has been a week for me, a week. I am this passionate about it because I'm like, Tasha, what have you been doing? What are you doing? Right? And I just had to like pull myself up and go, I am going to practice what I preach. Higher mind thinking. Higher mind thinking is the path to the level of wealth that I want to create for myself. And I want to show you how to create for yourselves. Right? So there we go. I love it. Jackie says, what am I capable of? The plan is already done for me. I don't need to sit here and go over and over and over it. It stresses me out. Like, the plan's already done for me. What am I doing? Right? So that's number one. Number two, you want to really look at higher mind actions. And this is where so many people are stuck, because lower mind thinking says, it has to make sense. It has to be perfect. It has to look like this. I have to like master all of this. One of the keys I feel to our success and getting us where we've gotten is I have always been willing to take imperfect action. I want you to know higher mind wealth lives in higher mind actions. What does that look like? How do you access that level of always being in that consciousness? Just keep acting. Act anyway. Act especially when it doesn't make sense. Do it anyway. Just do it. Thank you, Nike. Just do it. Just take action. Because here's the thing. When you're trying to figure it out and when you're trying to assign this action is going to create this level of wealth, you're in your lower mind. When you're like, I just need to take action. I know I just need to take action. And I don't know if this exact action is going to lead me to my wealth. I don't know. But I trust that action creates wealth. Action creates wealth. So I just keep acting. Perfect and imperfect action all the time. One of the most important higher mind actions that you can take is to keep feeding the dream. And I'm going to be totally transparent with you and say, I've fallen off the wagon a little bit over the last couple of months. I've found myself in this like pattern of thinking of trying to figure it out, trying to, put the logical pieces in place. And what that has done is filled my mind and my time and my space and like all of my consciousness with logic, and I've stopped dreaming. And so I want to tell you that everything that I know, like I know about creating wealth happens when I feed the dream. That's when I surrender to that higher consciousness, and I'm like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I see it. I see it. And as long as I can see it, I know it's being created for me. So when you see people having results that make no sense, or you're like, how did they do that? I promise you, what they are doing is they're being committed to that state of higher mind consciousness where they just feed the dream and they allow the magic that's higher than anything that your logical mind can figure out. Your lower mind cannot figure out the steps. It can't. So stop wasting your time there and put your energy and your commitment to, I'm going to commit to feeding my dream. That's the most important action that I can take. And then I'm just going to take action. I'm just going to be in action because I know my higher mind says, this is what I need you to do. I just need you to stay in action, stay in action, stay in action. I'm putting it all together for you, but you can't receive it if you're not in action, right? So that is number 2. Action creates wealth. Feed the dream. There you go. I'm looking down at my notes. So the other thing that I have here is act with courage. I'm going to tell you that when you are committed to operating from your higher mind, it's going to look like a leap of crazy faith. It's going to not make sense. And so many people are out of alignment with the wealth that they're capable of because they're in fear. They're not acting from courage. And I want you to hear me with all this passion in my voice today. I'm speaking to you and I'm speaking to me. You have to act with courage. Lower mind thinking is safe. Lower mind consciousness is safe. Lower mind money makes sense. Higher mind wealth, higher mind consciousness, it's going to take courage. You're going to have to do stuff that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense on paper, but because you're being pulled by this thing, this higher mind awareness that is so much more powerful than you, it won't make you stop thinking about the action that you should be taking. But so many people just stop right there and they don't take the actions. You have to act with courage. That's how you access this next level of wealth that's available for you. It's going to require courage. And the last thing that I'll say is you are all being guided to take actions. I have no doubt about it. You're all being guided to take actions. When you want to access that higher mind that keeps talking to you, and it's that higher mind, it keeps giving you ideas, do this, do this, do this. You have to take the actions. Here's what happens when you don't do that. That little higher mind, it just gets softer and softer and softer, and your lower mind gets louder and louder and louder and louder. And I don't know about you, but this is heavy. It's hard. It takes a lot of effort. There's no magic. There's no joy. There's not a lot of joy, right? This higher mind consciousness, this higher mind that tells you, inspires you, reminds you, gives you like, here you go do this. This is the easy path. This is the easy path. You want to harness your higher mind consciousness. You want to be creating your wealth. You want to be committed. I'm going to create my wealth from this consciousness, not this one over here, your lower mind, right? So that's number 2. You have to act from your higher mind. When it tells you to do things, you have to do it. You have to be in action. And the last part is number 3. You have to be the person who experiences higher mind consciousness. You know, there are some people that I just, quite frankly, am inspired by. I look at the way that they're creating and growing and expanding in their lives and their businesses. And I look at what they're talking about, what they're teaching, the conversations that they're having. And I can tell you, this is something I've always known. You have to embody wealth to be the level of wealth that you desire. You must embody it. They are those people that I look at, they just ooze wealth. They just ooze it. And It's about embodiment, because the higher mind sees you at that level of wealth. The lower mind does not. And so it keeps you in your everyday pattern of just being average and acting average and doing, the basics. While the higher mind is like, hey, come over here. I see you like this. And what you have to do in the physical is quantum leap into that. You have to embody that level of wealth. This is where I tell you, like, this doesn't mean you go buy a mansion that you can't afford, but, treat yourself once a week. Go and do things that make you feel wealthy, and find things that don't cost money but make you feel wealthy. I was doing this on Clubhouse last week, where we made commitments. What are we going to do monthly? What are we going to do quarterly? What are we going to do once a year? And for me, there's this beautiful luxury spa that I like. Once a month, I'm committed to now. One of my things is, one of the things, it's so simple that makes me truly feel like I'm a bazillionaire, is to have my house cleaned once a week. It sounds so simple. It's going to cost me $500-$600 a month, but it makes me feel so wealthy. And so that's what, like, my higher mind is like, Tasha, that's what wealth for you looks like. That's what you enjoy. That's what it feels like. Embody it right now. Don't try to figure out if you have the budget for it. Like, you know what? If it's not going to break the bank, do it. Just do it. Embody it. And one of the things that I know is, when I am at that level, when I am in that embodiment of wealth, I attract more wealth to me. And so that is my commitment. When I am in that way of being, I hear more from this higher mind of mine. And that's what I want for you. I am telling you that if you want wealth with ease this year, this is one of the first things that we're going to have to do. You're going to have to commit to higher wealth thinking. You're going to have to commit to you're going to have to commit to higher mind thinking. You're going to have to commit to higher mind actions, and you're going to have to commit to embodying that higher mind wealth version of you. Your higher mind already sees you there. It knows what it looks like. You know what it looked like, but you're waiting till you get the money to live it, to do it, to look like it. And your higher mind's like, girlfriend, it's already done. Just be it right now. Be it. And everything that's attracted to that beingness will come into your physical existence. Right? So I love it. I just really intend that this inspires the heck out of all of you to step out of your lower mind thinking, to look at when you're there and go, what am I doing? Right? Like I have. Now, one of the things that we're going to do this Saturday, hopefully you're all registered, 10 a.m. Eastern. Let me tell you, if you have been watching, hang on a second. You all know this by now, but if this is your first time for whatever reason and you're not registered for our money manifesting party, we're going to do our money manifesting board. This is my 2022 board. I'm going to show you how I manifested the opportunity to pay off my mortgage, like all kinds of things. I'm going to show you and talk to you about the exact process that I use to manifest all of the wealth that I created in 2022. Right? So type the word party only if you're not registered already for the party. You can also go to tashachen.com/party and get yourself registered. Invite a bunch of friends. I'll see you Saturday for that. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do at that party is I'm going to start the entire thing off by taking you out of your lower mind and putting you into your higher mind consciousness before we even create your wealth for 2023. That is step number one. You want to be there, because this is what I realize is that a lot of people are looking to manifest, to create, to have results, but it's all from the lower mind, right? So before we do anything in this magical experience, I'm going to take you through a process to put you at that higher mind level of thinking. And a lot of people have been asking me, how do I get a board this size? Everyone that's registered for the party, we're going to give you like a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet that you can print on your printer at home and like follow us along during the party. But if you want a board like mine, like this is mine here, right? If you want a board this size, it's thick, it's beautiful, you want to go to my shop, let me put this on here, and just order your board. It probably won't come by Saturday, but we're going to do the activity together at the party on Saturday, and then you'll have your board. You'll have it. and you can take all your time, a couple of weeks, to get yourself, beautiful pictures, all the things that you want. A lot of people choose to do this on their phones and do like an electronic version. Me, I want to see this every single day in my presence. So my money board hangs in my bathroom. I want to see it. I want to stand there and look at it. When it's on my phone, it's like, I don't know. It just doesn't have the same for me. So if you're like me and you want a board, go ahead, tashachen.com. I'm sorry, tashachen.myshopify.com. tashachen.myshopify.com, and you can all order your boards. There's lots of other boards on there, lots of other journals, all kinds of products that you can have fun ordering. But if you want a big money manifested board, that's where you'll get it. All right. So with that, mwah, I love you. Go have an amazing week, and I'll see you all this Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern for the party. Mwah. Bye, everyone. Have a great week.